Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. Why am I? Looks like I'm starting slow. Okay, there we go. Grace and peace, everybody. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. You know what we're going to be doing today. We have a great show planned for you. Have you ever had like a good friend of yours that comes over, they're going to pick you up and you're supposed to go somewhere and they come to pick you up and you and your friend just start talking and lo and behold, y'all are late getting to where you're supposed to go because y'all been sitting around talking and chewing the fat and all that kind of good stuff? That's my guest, Frank, today, man. I'm sitting here. We could have kept on talking. I'm like, man, we can't lose all this good content, Frank. We got to get you on here. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I got Frank from a Nigerian perspective. His link is down in the description, as well as the moderators will be dropping it in the chat throughout the day. And this is going to be a great conversation. So I'm really hoping that you all find a lot of value in it. Frank actually, of course, lives in Nigeria, and he's been on the channel before talking about what it actually is like living in Nigeria. What is a, boots on the ground type of experience. So he's got a lot to say about the Christmas gift that Nigeria got from Donald Trump this Christmas. So let me get him in here so we can see what we got. Frank, grace and peace. How are you, friend?
I am doing very well. Thank you for the wonderful introduction.
No, man, I was like, I can't say, I love sitting there talking to you. I'm like, I gotta stop Frank from talking, because we got to get over here. We got to share this conversation. So, no, man, thank you so much, man, for stopping through today. All right. Oh, man, looks like you might have froze. Okay, let me bring you back in real quick. All right, look like we might be having some some cold weather issues up in here. I've been joking about how hot it's been in Atlanta. Clearly, my complaints have gotten to management, right? It is cold here in Atlanta now, so maybe that's what happened. Maybe my internet is frozen up. All right, we got you back, Frank. How are you, friend?
I'm doing well. I hope I'm not frozen again.
Oh, no, you're good. No, we've had a very unseasonably warm Christmas. Oh. And I mean, it was pretty hot. I'd say it was really hot. So apparently today, Georgia got the memo because it is cold now. Anyway, how are you doing, friend? How's it going?
I'm doing well. It's going well over here in Nigeria. We are very happy with what Mazi Trump is doing.
Oh, so you liked our Christmas present?
Oh, we enjoyed the Christmas present. We saw it and we were like, hallelujah. In fact, it was like, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
I love it. I love it. Frank said he liked the Christmas present. Hey, 47. Frank says he appreciates the Christmas present. I love it.
I'm very sure I'm not the only one. I mean, there's this prominent pastor in Nigeria. He did a whole sermon about it. Like, he was so happy.
Hey, I don't like sermons that are kind of based upon things that are happening in the news and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I probably will give him a pass for that one. I might let him have that one. Look, you can have the night the bombs fell on Christmas, right? The bombing before Christmas. You can have that one. I'll let you have that one.
I was surprised when I saw it. I think I came online on the 25th. Yes, I came online on the 25th, and then I saw it was the Trump announcement itself that I just saw, and I was like, "Wait, what? What just happened?" That kind of surprise, and it's one of the reasons why I am very sure that despite the fact that the official narrative says that this was done in collaboration with the Nigerian government, despite that, I am very sure that the collaboration is kind of that word should be. There should be an asterisk behind it. There should be an asterisk behind it, because there need to be an explanation behind the collaboration. Because I believe that if the United States had not broken that news, people in Nigeria would not have known that it happened. That is the truth. We got the news that we were bombed from the United States. They were informing us. If not for Trump's tweets, if not for the tweets from Pete Hegseth and the rest of them, we would not have known. It was much later that the Nigerian government released a statement confirming it and saying, yeah, we collaborated. It was a joint effort. Yes, we were there. It was, it was a structural collaborative effort, and there is mutual understanding and all whatnot. I feel it's kind of suspicious to me. I don't want to sound like, conspiratorial candidates here, but I feel the relationship between the United States and Nigeria is kind of like a bully type relationship. Where the United States is like, yeah, we're going to do this, and you better move along, or you're going to there will be hell to pay. And Tinubu
Right.
is like, okay, you know what, do whatever you want to do. Just make sure you don't do this. Okay, we're fine. We have an understanding. I think that's kind of how it went. I don't think it was like a willing collaboration. I mean, we have the foreign minister of Nigeria in an interview said that the US gave them heads up 19 minutes before the attack. So
19 minutes is wild. Well,
and I think is if the United States want to do that, is the only way to go, because the government, I think I said it the last time I was here, that the government in Nigeria cannot be trusted. I kept saying it cannot be trusted.
right.
If you collaborate with them, they will tell the terrorists that you are coming, and by the time you get there, you will see nobody there. It is going to be a wasted effort. So if it is indeed true, although I feel like it may not have been 19 minutes, it may have been 5 minutes after. After the attack, they're like, yeah, we
He
just
said
did
5 minutes after. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not even sure they will do it before. I feel like 5 minutes after, they're like, yeah, I know someone has reported that there was a blast in some forest in Sokoto State. Yeah, we are the ones that did it. I feel like that's kind of what must have happened. So there is that, and we've also seen people who have come out to say this, even though they are not official like spokespeople for the government. But you have some people who have like said that the Nigerian government is being bullied to collaborate with the United States because they feel like they have no other option. And on a good day, I will not be okay with one country bullying the other. But when it has to do with Nigeria and dealing with this Islamic terrorism that is going on,
They
I'm like,
deserve it.
out of these people, like bully the hell out of if bully them and bully them well. People are always like, Trump is a bully. I'm like, yeah, you know what? In other circumstances I will hate bullies, but this is the one bully that I love. So keep bullying them. Keep bullying these smaller countries. This is where your bullying is much needed. So yeah.
Right. I love it, man. I love it. Okay. So let me ask a question. Let's just pretend that U.S. did not report on this and Trump did not tweet on it.
Mhm.
Would they? So you're saying that Nigeria would never have even mentioned it, or they would have said they would have took responsibility for it?
They probably would not have said anything about it. There are many attacks that happen in Nigeria that don't even get official report.
Wow.
Yes, many. And some of them are even dastardly attacks, like really bad attacks, that if not for some people, you will not have. It's not if not from the government. No, if not for
Really?
some people who were like, no, we are going to blow this thing out. We are going to make sure everybody know about it. You will not be hearing about it. Like I know a couple of handles on Twitter that report Fulani bandit attacks in Nigeria.
Okay.
And they can report like 15 stories. Only 2 will become like prominent amongst Nigeria and amongst Nigerians. Like only 2 of those stories that they reported will make it to the mainstream in Nigeria. So the remaining 18, nobody even knows about it.
Wow.
I don't know if you understand. That's kind of how it. So yes, this kind of attack can happen. And if the US did not say anything about it, Nigerians will not be aware.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. And the good thing about the internet now is that it doesn't afford the Nigerian government enough leeway to control and structure the narrative in a way that will look favorable to them. So
can you say that again? I know what you mean, but can you?
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that usually when you have like control on how the Nigerian government in the past, before social media, they had control over the news houses, so they can tell them what to publish, what not to publish, and how to report the story, right? But now that you have Twitter, you can hear what Donald Trump is saying without logging on to NTA or AIT or any of the news channels we have in Nigeria, or CNN or whatever, that you can now have access directly to Trump and other sources of information across the world. Now that we have that direct access, the government, the amount of narrative construction that they can do is very limited. So, and I think that is a very good thing. It really helps. It really helps the average Nigerian to know what is happening, especially the ones that are online. Helps us to know what is happening without relying so much on established news sources in this country.
I love it. All right, man, thank you so much, man, for that opening. I appreciate it. Well, there's a video that kind of explained the missile attack, and I thought it was super interesting because I thought he gave some great insight, but I wanted to hear what you thought about it and bring your thoughts in on it as well. So let me do this very quickly. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. I believe some of your people up in here, man. Some of your
Yeah,
folks, some of your supporters. Absolutely, man. Thank y'all, everybody who's jumped in. Please make sure my mods, if you could make sure that we have Frank's channel, A Nigerian Perspective, is down in the description. But can we also drop it in the chat and just encourage everyone to go check out what he's doing? I see him with that silver play button back there. I'm trying to see if I can get me one by my birthday. Help a brother out. Help a brother out. All right, let me bring this.
Where exactly did the U.S. military just...
All right, so let me lay down the groundwork. This is an animation of everything that has happened. And Frank, feel free to tell me when to stop or whatnot. I might stop and ask you some questions.
All right.
Green hearts in the chat when y'all can hear.
Strike inside Nigeria, and how did they pull it off from hundreds of miles away? First, let's talk about the location. The strikes hit Sokoto State, right in the northwestern corner of Nigeria. This is a critical area because it borders the country of Niger. Security analysts have identified the specific targets as camps belonging to ISIS-affiliated militants. These are likely Islamic State, Sahel Province, or a locally affiliated group known as La Kerala. But why here?
Okay. You've told me about... Go ahead, Frank. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. The video rightly pointed out that this is in the northwest region of Nigeria. This is Sokoto State. It borders Nigeria with it's a state that borders between Nigeria and Niger State, or Niger Republic rather, not Niger State, Niger Republic. Sorry, you know it may look like Niger, but it is pronounced Niger because it is French.
Niger. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's French. It's not English. So it's Niger Republic. So Niger Republic is a part of the Sahel region that is plagued by Islamic terrorists. Like we have Niger Republic, you have Burkina Faso, and you have Mali. These are three countries that have been plagued by radical Islamist organizations. Some of them are affiliated with Al-Qaeda, some are affiliated with ISIS, some affiliated with other terror groups funded by different terror networks across North Africa and the Middle East, right?
Okay.
So, in fact, one of the reasons why in the Sahel region, especially the countries of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, why they had a regime change in those countries, it was organic. It wasn't like we had the United States carrying out the regime. No, it was organic. The people themselves kind of overthrew the sitting government and installed like a military government. It was like there were military coups in those countries, essentially. Military coups in those countries was because one of the reasons for the coups was because the French, the current government in those countries, we are partnering with the French government and the French military to deal with radical Islamic groups in their country, but they were not being, they were not dealing with it effectively. So it was one of the reasons why this, the military in those countries decided to take over the government and try to fight these terrorist groups. Countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger tried to collaborate with Russia in fighting these groups. They employed the services of Wagner. These are things that we are kind of prominent news in this region, this part of the world for. Okay. So I know it probably did not reach the West, but it was major news when all these things were happening. So, and it was because they were trying to deal with Islamic terrorism. All right. Now, Niger is not like Nigeria, that they are really committed to dealing with Islamic terrorism. But the problem for Niger is that whenever they are fighting these terrorists, where they usually retreat to is a place that the Niger military cannot go into, which is Nigeria, the Nigerian territory. And you have bordering states like Sokoto, you have bordering states like Borno State. You have Borno State has become like the epicenter. Sambisa Forest has become the epicenter for Boko Haram. And Boko Haram now operates not just in Nigeria, but in Cameroon and in Niger and in Chad. So Boko Haram is becoming like international. They are no longer local terrorist groups. They're now international because somehow the Nigerian territory has offered them a safe space. So it's something similar like that in Sokoto and the towns that we are hit. Is that these places have become like hubs for terrorist groups. Now, one of the things that people we are wondering when Trump said, I think Trump announcement was kind of true, made many people confused because he said that they hit ISIS hideout in Nigeria. And so many people were like, wait, what? ISIS is in Nigeria. But they didn't understand that it wasn't like ISIS. It was ISIS affiliated groups like ISWAP, for example, is Islamic State West African Province. That is ISIS West African Province, essentially. And then you have this Lukurawa. I hope it's a new terrorist organization. So forgive me if I'm not getting they should not forgive me that I'm not getting their names correctly. So it's a new one, but it's also affiliated with ISIS. And I think those are the ones that we are being targeted. And many people have wondered why Sokoto, because if what everyone would expect if you are dealing with terrorists in Nigeria is that you attack Sambisa, is that you attack Borno State, because that's like the headquarters of Islamic terrorism in Nigeria is Sambisa, or at least that's what we have been made to think. So we find it interesting that instead of Sambisa, what was first hit was Sokoto. Now, is it that there are a couple of explanations for this, because many people are trying to understand why Sokoto instead of Sambisa, why Sokoto instead of Borno State. And there are two explanations for this. Explanation one is perhaps the US intelligence was not correct, and maybe they were going after a smaller group instead of the main fish. Or maybe there was something that they felt like was an imminent concern or an imminent threat, an imminent threat that was coming from Sokoto that was not coming from Borno State or Sambisa. That is another possible explanation. Or maybe the third explanation, which is the one that I'm leaning towards, is that we have been overlooking a state like Sokoto and the terrorists have carefully made us overlook a state like Sokoto and have everybody's mind feast on Sambisa. But US had the intelligence to recognize that Sokoto is actually a problem. And the reason why I feel like that is probably the case is because the seat of the Islamic Caliphate in Nigeria, or the former Islamic Caliphate in Nigeria, is Sokoto. The religious head of Muslims in Nigeria is the Sultan of Sokoto. Okay, the religious head of Muslims. Every Muslim in Nigeria, whether you are living in Lagos, you are living in whatever part of the country you are living in, your religious head as a Muslim is the Sultan of Sokoto, who is a Fulani man, right? And it's in Sokoto that you have the seat of the former caliphate that was established by Uthman Dan Fodio. So I believe a lot of Islamic activities will be going on in Sokoto that would be overlooked. Now, many people have said that, but Sokoto has not been a hot spot when it has to do with Islamic terrorism, or especially those places that we are hit. We are not hot spots. They don't used to have frequent terror attacks. There are two explanations for that. Either the groups that are in those regions, in those areas, are not serious groups like many people want to think, or those groups, though they have a hideout in Sokoto, are not operating, like they are not carrying out their attacks in Sokoto. So why so many people are like, but Sokoto has not been a hot spot, which is not true, by the way, because, well, it depends on how you define hot spot at the end of the day for Islamic terror activities. Have Sokoto been a victim of frequent terror attacks? Yes. Are there bandits in Sokoto? Yes. There are areas in Sokoto that are being controlled by bandits and by terrorists. There are areas in Sokoto where terrorists are collecting taxes from people for them to be able to operate and live their lives. There are people in Sokoto that are being attacked constantly. Now, the statement is that the very village that was attacked was not one of those places. For that is because that village has become a safe haven, so they don't need to attack the people there. That is where they go to, to recalibrate, to, going back to the drawing table. That's like their safe space. So they don't need to terrorize people. And it might even suggest, which is something so many people who talk about this don't even consider, it might even suggest that the people in those communities are okay with those terrorists. Because this is not the first time we've seen it in this country, where people live, where the places where these terrorists are hiding, the people there are okay with them. In fact, sometimes people there are trust the terrorists more than they do the Nigerian government. So we should keep all of that.
Well, the way you said it about the Nigerian government, I might trust them too. It's kind of like here in the United States, there are areas where gangs will infiltrate and just run a whole community or a whole project community, apartment complex, whatever. And I mean, they become the law. They become everything, and to the point that people no longer actually see the police as the legitimate law enforcement, the legitimate authority. They see a gang as the legitimate authority. So I can kind of see what you're saying there.
Yeah, it's similar to that, but except that these gangs have rocket propellers and they have they have AK-47s and they have hand grenades and they have tanks. And
Wow.
their goal is to establish a caliphate. That is the only difference.
Wow. All right. Well, let's bring this back in. Let's thank y'all, everybody who's just jumped in. We got, of course, our friend and brother Frank from a Nigerian perspective. There's a couple questions about your name, the Bliss of Jihad. You might need to explain that because people might be missing the sarcasm there.
All right, let me explain. The Bliss of Jihad. I think some people who are asking it are people who are subscribed to the channel itself, and they don't know that it's me. Yeah, I'm not a Muslim by any stretch of the imagination. I have, except we go with the broad definition of a Muslim is somebody who submits. You know, if that is your definition, a Muslim is someone who submits to God. Then I'm a Muslim, and I'm also an apostate at the same time. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, no, I'm not a Muslim. I'm a Christian. I make content. The Bliss of Jihad is just to talk about the awesomeness of jihad. And by jihad, I don't mean the internal struggle that moderate Muslims like to point to. I'm talking about the actual throwing of bombs and all those wonderful stuff. So that's what the channel focuses on, but it does it in a very sarcastic, comical way. People who are subscribed to the channel, will know what I'm talking about. If you want to understand more about what Bliss of Jihad is, you go over to the channel and you subscribe.
And make sure you do that. I like how you did that. Well done. If the moderators could drop Frank's channel, A Nigerian Perspective, in the chat, I'd appreciate it. Let me bring this back in.
Where exactly did the U.S. military just strike inside Nigeria, and how did they pull it off from hundreds of miles away? First, let's talk about the location. The strikes hit Sokoto State, right in the northwestern corner of Nigeria. This is a critical area because it borders the country of Niger. Security analysts have identified the specific targets as camps belonging to ISIS-affiliated militants. These are likely the Islamic State, Sahel Province, or a locally affiliated group known as La Kerala. But why here? This region is seeing a dangerous shift. Extremist groups are moving down from the Sahel specific.
Okay, so let me just make sure I got it right. Niger? Niger, okay.
Oh, you can even see, look at this map shows you exactly the Sahel region. You can see Mali, you can see Niger, you can see Burkina Faso. These are the three. I mentioned these three areas. You can see them, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. Yeah, they're all part of the Sahel region in Northwest Africa.
Love it. Love it.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'm learning something already because I'm gonna call it Niger. I'm gonna be official. I'm gonna say Niger and not Niger because that's how we've been pronouncing it forever. So shout out for sure. Okay. And by the way, none of these areas is Frank's house, right? We didn't bomb Frank's crib, right?
No.
Okay. Well, make sure
the official narrative, even though I don't know how much of it can be trusted, but what they have said is that it was a precision strike. What was hit was the terrorist hideout. Although the people who are saying that they hit a farmland are lying. It's not true. They actually hit terrorists. In fact, villagers said that they saw. I can send you a news report about it, where villagers said that they saw people running away, like they saw the terrorists fleeing the scene because of the attack. So, contrary to what you are hearing, some people say, "Oh, it was just an empty farmland that was blown to pieces, or Trump was just doing it for show. Terrorists were not actually killed." No, terrorists were killed. Their hideouts were destroyed, and they were forced to flee. Now, where they will flee to is what happens afterwards is what we should be talking about, instead of spending time pushing baseless claims and ridiculous propaganda. Sometimes it frustrates me when we talk about these things, where there are things that should be established facts, but because people are so dedicated to lying, we will spend hours trying to just say the grass is green, right? And to talk about what the grass being green means.
How it became green. Now, and by the way, if anybody has ever wondered, if somebody said all the way to Timbuktu, now you know where Timbuktu is, right there.
No, Mali is one of the, people don't know this, but in West Africa, Mali is one of the biggest. You can see it is one of the. If you zoom out, I don't know if they will ever zoom out. Mali is one of the biggest countries in West Africa, and this is the thing. Many of these places are just deserts. Like
Got you.
people don't live in many of these places. It's just desert areas. You can see how they look like on the map. It's just desert. Yeah.
Got it. All right, here we go. Let's go.
Quickly from Mali and Niger into northwestern Nigeria. But the real surprise is how they did it. Unlike the drone strikes we often see in other regions, this operation relied on heavy naval firepower. The U.S. Navy launched Tomahawk cruise missiles, long-range precision weapons. These missiles were fired from a U.S. Navy warship positioned all the way down in the Gulf of Guinea, off the southern coast of West Africa. The operation was conducted by U.S. Africa Command. Crucially, both the Pentagon and the Nigerian Foreign Ministry confirmed that these strikes were carried out with the approval and intelligence support of the Nigerian government. But how did the Nigeria war
How do you feel about that?
I feel like that is, I don't believe that part. That's what they
okay.
said. I don't believe it. The reason why I don't believe it is that I'll be interested. Okay, let me tell you this. One time, I've forgotten who, I think it was the defense minister or one minister or one official like that from the Nigerian government was asked, why don't you throw like rockets or stuff into like these people and their, where their hideouts and where they are staying? Why don't you just, instead of sending soldiers on the ground where some of them die, why don't you just, fire rockets to where they are hiding? And the minister or whoever it is said that the rockets cannot penetrate trees.
Cannot penetrate trees.
Yeah, it can't count like the trees and stuff. So
Okay.
someone who talks like that, I don't know if they have intelligence to share with the United States. That's just what I'm saying.
Wait, man. Y'all might have special kind of trees though, man. Or you got some. Where'd y'all get y'all rockets from? Did you get your rockets from Temu? That could be a problem.
I don't know.
I know a guy who can sell you some rockets, man. Don't buy your rockets from Temu. That's the problem, Frank. You can't penetrate trees.
So that's when you say they're sharing intelligence. I'm like, okay, that's what there are parts of the story that you just know. Okay, all right, you have to say it. I understand,
Gotcha.
And then there are parts that I just, this one is true, So
How did the Nigeria war started? To understand this, we have to look at how this country is divided into Muslim and Christian.
All right, and you've told us this when you came on the show before, as well as if you are listening to a Nigerian perspective. Frank has talked about this ad nauseum. Does that look like a good breakdown to you? Does that look like
it's not. It's not. See, let him play a little bit because the map is kind of slant. I wanted to maybe if he can. Let's see if the
okay? Yeah, tell me to stop when you see it. Tell me to stop.
All right. Yeah, I will.
The northern part of Nigeria is predominantly Muslim with approximately
Pause. You see, that place that they describe as the northern part of the country, even though the way the map is tilted, in the original map, it looks like it's the biggest part of the country. But that is not, the breakdown is not accurate. The middle belt part of Nigeria has a very vibrant Christian population. Many of the states in Nigeria that people believe are like Christian, Muslim majority states have like 40, 30, sometimes 50% Christian population. A state like Yobe State, for example, Adamawa and I think Adamawa State in the northeast. That is part of the place that is being colored as is in the eastern part. That is part of the place that is being colored green for Muslim. But the governor of Adamawa State is a Christian. Why is that possible? Because they have a Christian majority. So these are the kind of things that you put out there, and I'm like, it's not really accurate. Like these things are not really that. It's not as it is. The people who push it are the Muslims in the north. They make it look like they have a vibrant. We are all over the place. We are everywhere. We are the majority. In fact, one person posted on Twitter that Sokoto is 99% Muslim. I'm like, there is no state in Nigeria that is 99% Muslim. You liar. There is none.
He said you were a liar. No, I got you. Okay. Let me just make it bigger for a second. All right. So you're saying that this is definitely not.
It's not accurate.
Proportionate or accurate. I apologize.
It's not accurate.
Okay.
It's not accurate. But I'm not going to be hard on the person who is making this video, because of course he's going to rely on the publicly available data.
Correct.
I guess this is the kind of thing that you understand if you live in the country and you're like, nah, this, you cannot say this place is this percent. One of the most respected bishops in Nigeria is a bishop in Sokoto.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, so he has a very big diocese in Sokoto, and they are 99% Muslims.
That doesn't make sense. You're right. Okay. I can dig it. Let's keep it going.
50 to 55% of the population adhering mostly to Sunni Islam, while the southern and southeastern regions are majority Christian, comprising about 45% to 35% of the population.
Yeah, I see your face. I'm trying to keep an eye on your face over there.
That 35%. That's interesting. Anyway, let's. I don't want to.
I think the graphics are interesting too, because the Muslim man is standing up and the Christian man is down on his knees. I think, I just think that's a very interesting contrast. You see, this
Southern
guy
and
is
southeastern
standing.
regions are
this guy over here.
Christian, comprising about 40.
Say
I
it
don't
again.
think I don't think Muslims will appreciate that they will be represented as. I don't think Muslims will appreciate being represented as standing up. You know, they believe that they bow down. That's why they are Muslims. That's how Jesus prayed. You know, that's how Moses prayed. I don't know if you've seen their propaganda. That's how Muslims pray. That's how Jesus. So maybe they should have them heads down, bottom up. You know,
Look, right.
5% to 35% of the population. Boko Haram, an Islamist militant group, is primarily based in northeastern Nigeria, specifically in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states.
All right. Well, sorry about that. How do you feel about that?
yeah, that's
Yobe and
accurate.
Adamawa.
Where they operate is basically those three places.
Okay.
But they've carried out attacks in many other places. They've carried out attacks in Abuja. They attacked the UN office in Abuja during their heydays when they were still a force to reckon with. You know,
Right.
so
Wow.
States. This group adhered to ISIS strategy and will eliminate everyone, whether Muslims or Christian, that does not follow their rule of law. Sadly, most of the victims are their fellow Muslims brothers too. Let's look at their bases.
Now I've
Not-
heard. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
not so true. Most of their victims are Muslims. Again, official. It's not even official narrative. It's just popular narrative. It's not official. It's popular. That's what people. It is always said. Oh, the major victims of Islamic terror attacks are Muslims themselves, which is true from a global perspective. Yes, if you count most of the people who get killed by, radical Islamic terrorists, they are Muslims. But it's not always the case that even in Nigeria, that is what you find, because when Boko Haram was operating, they are precise. When they want to attack people, they are precise. They know where they go to. These people go to Christian communities.
Correct.
In Borno State, for example, they attacked Chibok. That is a Christian community. They attack many Christians. They go specifically to Christian communities and attack them. So yes, they attack Muslim communities too. But when they're attacking Christian communities, they are precise, and they burn down churches. And when they attack Muslims, like he said, like the video said accurately, is because those Muslims are not collaborating or cooperating with them, because they feel it's kind of like Muhammad's injunction, where he told them that Allah told him to be firm against the disbelievers and the hypocrites. So
Hypocrites. Right.
ISIS and Boko Haram interprets the hypocrites there to mean any Muslim who is not in support with their fight or their call to establish an Islamic caliphate. If you're not in support of them, you are a hypocrite and
Hypocrite.
munafiq, like they're called in Arabic. And Allah has given them the mandate to fight you as well.
And can you speak on the idea of liberal Muslims, or, again, for lack of a better term, caliphate supporting Muslims? Because I think people are getting it twisted, like, oh, everybody can live peacefully together. No, that's not actually the case. If they are truly adhering to the teaching, they're going to be this gentleman over here holding the weapon, not the one with his hands in the prayer position. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, what I usually say about the whole idea of moderate and radical Muslims is that it's a spectrum. Okay, even when you somebody identifies as a moderate, is a spectrum.
Yep.
Even among the so-called moderates and those that you call radicals, like some people will claim to be moderate Muslims and they believe in live and let live, right? But yet they want that the punishment for blasphemy should be death. and they
Mm,
support that. You begin to ask yourself, is that a moderate Muslim or is that a radical Muslim?
correct.
The person will be like, no, I'm not calling for Sharia law, but I think, even somebody who thinks insulting the Prophet Muhammad requires 5 years prison sentence. That person is that person still a moderate? Because that is essentially you saying you want people's infringement on people's freedom of speech. Are you still a moderate? You get what I'm saying?
Right. No,
So,
you're right.
so there is that, and also you also have other form of so-called moderate Muslims who say we should be allowed who believe so many of the things that the prophet the prophet taught and preached, who have no problem with child marriage, for example, who have no problem with cousin marriage, and they're like, yeah, we are all moderate Muslims and we are about living and let living. And I'm like, I don't know, I think you're kind of not moderate.
No,
you
you're
know
not moderate.
Exactly. So that is kind of my issue with the way the term is being used and who it describes, and how at the end of the day they're just two kinds of Muslims. And of course it is in degrees. There are Muslims who are adherents to everything that is being taught in the Quran and the Hadiths. And then there are Muslims who don't adhere that much to it. There are Muslims who are Muslims traditionally, who just
Mhm.
they see it as a traditional or tribal identity. Like, we are Muslims because I'm a Muslim because my father is a Muslim and my father is a Muslim and my grandfather was a Muslim. 10 generations back, where we are all Muslims. So it's kind of who we are as a family. There are people who see themselves as that, right? And then there are people who, beyond just an identity, it is a religion, a calling. It defines everything about their life. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me, because people say, but not all Muslims. I'm like, even in Nazi Germany, not all Nazis in Nazi Germany were.
You went mute, Frank. Frank, you went mute. You muted yourself.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can. Yep.
All right. So as I was saying, it's not even in Nazi Germany. It wasn't every Nazi that was just going out door to door looking for who to, for the Jew to kill or something like that, or ratting out every Jew. It wasn't every Nazi. But if you identify as a Nazi, it's a problem. So I think for
Right.
me, the Muslim identity is a problem. I don't care whether you are radical or you are not. To identify as a Muslim is a problem. It is a
Correct.
problematic identity. And I know saying that to people who say, oh, you are an Islamophobe or whatever. But I'm like, no, it's the reality. It is. You might not take it seriously. There might be a way you look at it or whatever. But the identity itself, this is what it means. This is what. Imagine that I tell you, oh, I'm a Nazi, but the Jew stuff, I just believe that it is only.
I'm a cultural Nazi.
It's
I'm a
my
cultural
family.
Nazi, right?
It's not like the things that Hitler thought about and wanted is only going to happen in a Nazi state. But in a non-Nazi state, we don't do any of that, because you hear moderate Muslims say things like,
Yep,
in an
I hear
Islamic
those.
state, an apostate will be stoned to death. In an Islamic state, a homosexual will be stoned to death. And they're like, oh, but we are in the West. We're not trying to. Okay, so you are in support of that happening in an Islamic state. Then how are you not a problem? How is what you claim to be not a problem, even if you are not actively calling for whatever it is that would otherwise be a problem, even if you're not actively calling out for it, but that you identify with it is a problem. So the Muslim identity for me is a problem, whether you claim to be. So what I would say to the so-called moderate Muslim is, if you don't support everything, if you don't support most of the things, because at the end of the day, for you to be a real moderate Muslim, is that you end up not supporting most of the things that
Right.
Allah and his boyfriend Muhammad we are doing in 7th century Arabia and saying. If you don't
Correct.
support it,
How are
then
you a
why
Muslim?
are you part of it? Why not just give up the identity? You are not a Muslim. Some of them will say, you're not the one who will tell me what I am. I am what I am. I'm like, dude, it's not even up to you. Okay?
Right.
You're not the one who, it's not even up to you. No, is it up to me? It's up to the book and what it says.
Well, looking at it real quick. Well, looking at this picture right here. This picture right here will change. Well, I'm like, look, you can be the guy standing next to the Christian with this gentleman with his gun at your head, or you're gonna be the guy with the gun in your hand. There's only two options you have. So
yeah, and I like
you're-
how the guy with this first of all, the way the Muslim in Nigeria is being portrayed as a Muslim in Saudi Arabia is interesting. But that aside, they use the word fellow Muslim brother. No, the guy with the gun does not see that guy kneeling down looking like a Saudi Arabian as his fellow Muslim brother. He doesn't. He sees him as a hypocrite, as somebody who is not a Muslim. He sees him as an apostate, essentially.
wow.
2. Let's look at their bases. Boko Haram's strongholds are mainly found in northeastern Nigeria and the surrounding Lake Chad region, which stretches across the borders of Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. Among the
Feel good about that? Is that a decent map? That's a good map. Let me get this out of the way. That's a good map of it. Okay.
most significant strongholds is the Sambisa Forest in Nigeria.
Those are special trees, man. Those are special trees, man.
Yeah, the
vast remote forest has historically
Wait, say again.
I said the Sambisa forest that rockets cannot penetrate.
Rockets cannot penetrate these forests, man.
served as Boko Haram's primary headquarters and training ground, providing a concealed base for planning attacks and sheltering fighters. Another critical area is the Lake Chad Islands. These swampy, difficult-to-access islands offer natural cover, making them ideal hideouts for militants. They function as logistics hubs and supply depots, allowing Boko Haram to move men and material across borders with relative ease. Further, the rugged terrain of the Goza Hills along the Nigeria-Cameroon border acts as a strategic fallback zone. Here, Boko Haram maintains camp.
I'm sorry.
That place that they call Goza Hill. Goza itself, the name, Goza, yeah. That is a Christian community in Borno State.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, let me back. Okay, so now that I know it's a Christian community, now I want to hear it differently. Hold on. Let's do it again.
Boko Haram to move men and material across borders with relative ease. Further, the rugged terrain of the Goza Hills along the Nigeria-Cameroon border acts as a strategic fallback zone.
All right. Is it because just of do you think it's just because of its location, or do you think it's really?
I don't know why that spot, but probably because of the location. But I just want people who are watching to keep in mind is when they tell you, oh, these people are operating in the north, therefore their primary victims are Muslims. Keep in mind that one of their fortresses is a once vibrant Christian community.
Wow.
Here, Boko Haram maintains camps and lookout posts using the landscape to evade military operations. Finally, around the town of Bama in Borno State, Boko Haram has established logistical and command centers. This area plays an essential role in coordinating their operations and sustaining the insurgency in the region. But why is the Nigerian government unsuccessful in defeating Boko Haram?
All right. You want to answer this question, Frank, before
I've seen the video. I just play what they said.
Okay, tell me where to stop.
They face various problems from lower budgets, manpower, to geography. The group operates in remote, difficult terrains like forests and swampy Lake Chad Islands.
Oh, wait, say again?
I said, Paul, they said that one of the problems is that the Nigerian government faced low budget. That's interesting. Do you know what the average senator in Nigeria is paid annually? You know, our lawmakers are one of the highest paid in the world.
You know how much in the world?
Well, if you think I'm lying, one of the highest paid lawmakers in the world are Nigerian lawmakers. That's the country that don't have the budget to deal with Boko Haram. But the politicians have the time to pay themselves well. That is one. Then secondly, there have been many reports and many scandalous reports of defense ministers siphoning public funds for buying of jets and
Not a jet. Dang, man.
And what have you. So there was one that was being investigated the other time. Every one of them, once they leave office, the next thing you hear is that they are being investigated for one thing or the other. That's the country that is really running short on funds. We don't have enough funds to really deal with Boko Haram, but to siphon them, to embezzle them, to steal them, we've kind of find the funds where we want to steal them. That is the greatness of this country, ladies and gentlemen.
That is wild. That's wild. Okay, so let me back up just so we can keep because I do want to hear how he was building that up. But yeah, this is wild. Thank you so much, Frank.
Geography. The group operates in remote, difficult terrains like forests and swampy Lake Chad Islands, which are hard for the military to access. Nigeria's armed forces often struggle with outdated equipment, poor training, and logistical issues, limiting their effectiveness. Intelligence gathering is difficult.
Go ahead.
It is actually true that, although I said some of the things that I said, but it is actually true that the Nigerian military, we use poor equipment. Sometimes we've even had reports that we have soldiers who don't even have proper uniform. It's really that bad. But I'm just saying that there is no reason for that to be the case. There is no reason for that to be the case, is what I'm trying to say. It is really true that logistics is bad, surveillance is bad, equipment is bad, they're not well equipped, they really don't know. Sometimes they don't really even know what is going on. And they don't even know what information to trust. That's why sometimes they get intel that there is about to be an attack. They don't take it serious, and the attack happens. When that happens in this country, it's not always the case that they are doing that because, maybe it's because of an infiltration which is likely. It may be likely that you have an infiltration in the Nigerian army that is making it that the Nigerian army is not posted where they need to be posted to, catch these terrorists before they, commit any of this of their numerous attacks, right? But it's also the case that these people don't even know what intelligence to trust. They don't have proper intelligence. They don't have proper anything. That part is true. But I'm just saying it is not supposed to be so. This ought not to be so.
No, I like that. And I like that you explained that. I appreciate it. And that's sad that they are not able to do right because they're not being trained correctly. And okay, let's keep it going.
Because Boko Haram uses guerrilla tactics and small-scale attacks to avoid detection. Additionally, poverty, unemployment, and weak governance in the Northeast allow Boko Haram to recruit easily, with some communities mistrusting government forces due to corruption and previous abuses.
Pause.
You've said this before on multiple episodes. Go ahead.
I am tired of this excuse. Like this excuse of weak governance, poverty has made so many of the youths in the North to become terrorists. I am tired of this excuse. The reason why I'm tired of it is it only in the North that there is poverty? Is it only in the North that you have poverty and weak governance? Do you know how much the Nigerian government annually spend on the North? Yes, they are poor. It's not a lie. But do you know how much they throw into the North? Like they throw money into the North like they are pouring water into a basket. All of it just leaks out. Do you know how much they invest in the North? Yet nothing comes out of it. And it is not because, yes, there is also the stealing part, the part that, the politicians in the North are renowned thieves. You understand? Besides that, is that the way to help people in the North is to get them educated, right? If these people are properly educated, properly exposed, conversant with how the modern world works, they will be able to do a lot more for themselves. But these people are living in a society where Western education is being looked down on. How then do you help them? These people cannot be helped except you change their mindset about how they view Western education. Until that happens, they will constantly and continuously be perfect recruiters for these terrorist groups. That whenever they are looking for new members, they will always go to these people because they have nothing else going on for them. And they live in a society that has created that condition. So let's all this, and the poverty and the, please. This is one thing that at the end of the day, people who make this kind of videos will not really have the patience to look down into some of the things I'm pointing out, which is you have a system. This is a society that Islam has created, where you look down on Western education, you call it haram. When you hear Boko Haram, it's not just a terrorist group. It's a sentiment. It's a sentiment you find predominant in the North, that Western education is inferior or is sin.
Wow.
So all of them are already Boko Haram. It's just only few are carrying guns.
Wow, good catch.
So when you have that kind of mindset, everything is good, all this, but you need to understand poverty, weak governance, blah, 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 excuses. They are just excuses that I don't buy, because the poverty is everywhere. In fact,
Go ahead.
There are parts of this country that complain constantly of being marginalized. And it is true when you look into the allegation that, yes, they are being marginalized. But yet, when it comes to human development, they are doing well. They send their children to school. They want their children to be graduates from the university. Even though we have poor university system, yet they send their children, at least let us get the bare minimum or something close to it. Let us develop ourselves. Let us improve our lives. Let us engage in business. Let's engage in building industries. Let us see what we can do, even though the government is not helping us. That is the mentality, not this constant poverty and weak governance nonsense. I am really, I don't, it is annoying to me whenever it is being stated. And they constantly say it. It is every time you talk about Boko Haram, I am yet to see one documentary about Boko Haram where this nonsense is not mentioned. Oh, you have to consider the fact that there is weak governance and there is poverty and people don't trust the government and blah, blah, blah. Therefore, all the young people, or you will see a Northerner who has nothing going on for him in his life, right? He's going to marry 2 wives and he's going to have 16 children that he has no plan on how to raise. These children get to go to Alimajiri schools where all they learn is Arabic. And they learn Arabic at night. They beg during the day. There are beggars and students at night. All they learn is Arabic. When they graduate from these schools, they become cobblers, people who repair shoes, people who hawk water.
Wow.
What can they do with their lives? Tomorrow, when somebody tells them, you know what, the reason, and that is the sad part. After they live in this system that has created these conditions for them, they have a sheikh that will come and meet them and tell them that the reason why your life is bad is because of the same Western education you refuse to take part of. You refuse to be to be a part of. Your parents decided that it was not good for you. That is this Western education that has made your life miserable, and you need to push away the imperialist West that has turned the world upside down. And these children buy into it, and they give them guns and say, now we need to go out there and establish a caliphate.
Man.
That is what happens.
Wow.
And it needs to be. If I am the dictator, because sometimes it looks like this country, that's all we need. If I'm the dictator of Nigeria, if your child does not go to school, I will arrest the parents. I will arrest all of you involved. I will take that child away from you.
Okay.
Not all this nonsense. We need to respect. What would the government say? Oh, we need to respect people's culture. Congrats, keep respecting the culture that is breeding terrorists. Just keep doing it.
Right. Man. Okay, Frank. Frank, I think you told us exactly how you really feel. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. No, that is right on the money. But I wanted to have you come on because I know that you're there. And we were talking before we even got started, just what I understand is going on over there, and then kind of even what you understand is going on here in the United States is very interesting to hear how information is being conveyed, how what you understand what's going on in the States, and we'll talk about her in a moment, but just it's super interesting. So thank you for that. Let's get this back going.
The group's cross-border operations require regional cooperation, which is often slow and complicated by sovereignty concerns. Human rights concerns and security force abuses have also eroded public trust, making it harder for the government to gain community support. Let's take a closer look at how the U.S. would go about targeting Boko Haram. First, they'd establish naval and air dominance. A naval task force made up of aircraft carriers, destroyers, and amphibious ships would position itself in the Gulf of Guinea. From there, they provide air cover, launch precision strikes, and be ready to quickly deploy troops wherever they're needed. Next comes intelligence gathering. Using satellites, drones like the MQ-9 Reaper, and signal interception, the U.S. would keep constant watch on Boko Haram's movements, strongholds, and communication, giving commanders real-time awareness of the battlefield. They'd also work closely with Nigeria and neighboring countries to coordinate security along borders, share intelligence, and conduct joint operations that make it harder for Boko Haram fighters to slip across borders. The weaponry.
Right? How did you feel about all that right there, Frank?
I don't know how, if that is probably the textbook plan, but I don't know how much of it is being followed. I don't know if the neighboring, like, of course, I know that the United States don't have a good relationship with the government in Niger. So there is that. So I don't know what intelligence gathering they are doing with neighboring countries. Probably they are doing good one with Cameroon and with Chad. I don't know how much they are collaborating with Niger, because they are really like not, the United States government is not in good terms with the government in Niger. So there is that. And so that's like textbook is that, yeah, various countries collaborating together to try to defeat a common enemy. I just feel like the Nigerian government is not part of people collaborating in the collaboration.
Okay. No. I got
That's
you.
just how I feel. And yeah, so if this problem of Boko Haram is such that I will always say it, and I'll continue to say that if the Nigerian government want to deal with Boko Haram, like militarily, if they want to give Boko Haram a decisive defeat, they can. They just, for many reasons, political and otherwise, don't want to. I've said it multiple times that the problem with insurgency in this country is that many of their sponsors, many of their financiers, many of their supporters, many people who want to see these terrorists succeed, especially in Nigeria, many of them are in the government. Many of them have government position. Many of them are respected statesmen who control a huge demographic and a huge voting bloc, such that you will not want to where they tell. And usually it's also the problem in the north, because you need to understand that in northern Nigeria they vote as a single bloc, right? They go to the mosque, the imam tells them who they are going to vote for, and then they go out there and vote for the person. And then the imams have his organization where a bigger imam tell them what they are supposed to teach their pupils, and they go ahead and. So, for example, if you want to win election in Sokoto, you have to be good with it. You have to be in good terms with the Sultan of Sokoto. If you are in good terms with if the Sultan of Sokoto endorses you, you are going to win. So you have key figures like that are religious in northern Nigeria, and they are the ones that tell their people who to vote for. So. And many of these leaders, these religious leaders in the north, they share the sentiment of Boko Haram. In fact, they want, if the only problem many of them may really have with Boko Haram is that, yes, we want a caliphate, we don't just want you guys to be in charge. I don't know if you understand.
Wow. That makes perfect sense.
That may be their only objection to Boko Haram. But do they want an Islamic caliphate? Yes. Let me not say every, let me not generalize, but a good portion of the Muslim population in northern Nigeria want an Islamic caliphate. They want it.
Wow.
So, yes, they are taught to want it. They are taught to desire it. They are taught to look forward to it. They are taught that it has to happen. That one day it is going to happen. Allah will give them the strength, and they will conquer either the whole of the north and the north central, push the Christians out, or probably kill them, or probably subjugate them, or even the entire country itself, and get even the Igbos under their control and have them become dhimmis. This is something that is being fed into their head constantly. Now, many of them do not carry guns and are not part of Boko Haram, but Boko Haram radicalizing them is like setting fire to a dry bush.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like setting fire to it. These people are already ready. They just need They just need a spark, and Boko Haram is just that spark for some of them. Do you understand?
I like it. I like it. I like what you're saying.
Yeah, another thing you need to notice is that besides Boko Haram, which is something people don't recognize in northern Nigeria, there is little Donald Trump can do by way of military action at the end of the day, because the mentality is there in the north. It's not just Boko Haram. The mentality is there. And we've seen Muslims, just normal day-to-day Muslims, carry out this mentality, where you have riots, religious riots in places in the north, where the goal of this religious riot is to displace the Christian communities in the north. Like, wow. That is, and they've succeeded in many instances. We have a state like Kaduna, used to be majority Christian. Now it is minority Christian, and it is not because of Boko Haram. It's because the Muslims in northern part of Kaduna have systematically, through riots and religious conflicts, pushed the Christian population down south and taking most of their lands. These things are happening in Nigeria constantly. I have a friend of mine who stays in Bauchi, who told me how in Bauchi they have this religious clash happening. You know, they used to have it, now it's no longer the case, but they used to have it back then, where you have Muslims coming to attack the Christian communities. These people didn't have guns back then. They didn't have rocket launchers. They didn't have any of that. All they had was machetes and bikes.
Right.
And with that, they were already wreaking havoc in the Christian communities that, just like how Muhammad told them to terrorize the infidels around them. That is what they have been doing. So at the end of the day, the mentality is still there. That's why, I mean, in Nigeria, it's not just Boko Haram. It is not just Boko Haram. It's the mentality of most Muslims in the north.
And if I'm understanding you correctly, no matter what they do as it relates to the operations, the physical movement of Boko Haram, the mental mentality is there. So if it's not Boko Haram, it'll be something else.
It will be something else. Yes.
It'll be something else because the mentality's there. Gotcha, man.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that.
And even the people who are wreaking the most havoc, that is even the interesting part that people don't even recognize. The people who are doing the most are not even Boko Haram or groups that we are mentioning. They are unorganized bandits who belong to no political or terrorist name, no named terrorist group. These are local bandits. Group of people who come together and say, okay, we are going to just keep going from one town to another, terrorizing, raiding, kidnapping. These ones don't have a name. We don't know what terror group they belong to. We don't know what flag they raise. All we know is that they scream Allahu Akbar. Those are the ones doing the most.
Wow. So they're not even a part of the Boko Haram.
Yes.
That is wild. Thank you, Frank, man. I appreciate it. By the way, if you just jumped in, thank you so much. We have Frank from a Nigerian perspective. He actually lives in Nigeria, and he's just giving us his thoughts on this video explaining the gift that Trump sent Nigeria for Christmas, and he's just explaining it as a resident of Nigeria. All right, let's go.
The weaponry? Cruise missiles like Tomahawks would launch from naval destroyers and submarines to take out key Boko Haram bases and supply depots. At the same time, stealth fighters like the F-35 would carry out airstrikes on command centers, minimizing collateral damage. Special forces would roll out in coordination with Nigerian and regional troops to conduct precision raids, capture or eliminate Boko Haram's leadership, and help train local forces to better fight the insurgency. Finally,
how do you feel about
whoever it is that they are training, they should be sure that the person that they are training is not a future Boko Haram member.
That would be my only question as well. Like, how do you know? Like, we've done this before. We've messed this up before.
Yes, and again, this propagandist Islamist, the Islamist propagandist on social media will hop on it and say, you see, look at this guy that carried out this attack. He was once trained by the United States. What does that tell you? The United States are the ones who are creating. We've had this kind of talk. Oh, the United States are the ones creating the terrorists.
Oh my gosh, that would be
you
crazy.
came in, tried to help somebody defeat the terrorists, and then the person you were helping to defeat the terrorists was actually the terrorist.
Yeah, it's actually the terrorists. Wow, good catch.
So disrupting Boko Haram's logistics, especially in challenging terrains like the Lake Chad Islands and Sambisa Forest, would be vital. Cutting off their supply lines and making movement difficult would severely weaken the group. Together, this multi-layered approach combines America's advanced military capabilities with regional partnerships to systematically break down Boko Haram's strength, reduce their recruitment, and help restore stability in the region. For the U.S. to completely...
do you feel like any of that can be done with your current administration, current government?
It can if it can. Let me be optimistic. It can. It can happen. There's nothing God cannot do. It can happen. It can happen.
No, I got you. All right, let's keep this going.
To dismantle Boko Haram, they would need Marines and boots on the ground. The strategy involves deploying a ship capable of carrying Marines, tanks, and armored vehicles close to the shore using these hovercraft. These hovercraft traverse water, beaches, and difficult terrain, delivering troops where traditional landing craft or aircraft can't go. Marines then secure beachheads and push inland to clear urban areas and complex battlefields, missions impossible without boots on the ground. The strength of amphibious forces lies in their seamless integration of ground troops.
I don't think like what the part of this video that he's talking about, I don't think that is going to happen, like boots on the ground. And I have said so many things that I don't think will happen, and it ended up happening. So Let me be careful.
No,
But I
I
don't
got you.
want it to happen. I don't want US boots on the ground. For me, I feel the long-term solution to the problem of Islamic terrorism in the world and also in Nigeria is more, it has more to do with global awareness and changing the global perspective that many people have about Islam and Islamic terrorism. Because if people keep, Trump is just going to be here for 4 years. Let's say he fights them for 4 years. Let's say he gives them a decisive defeat in 6 months. Let's say that is the case. They're going to rise up again. Another administration will come up, and we don't know what that administration would do. What we need actually is for the public consciousness of people in the world, all over the world, to be concerned about what Islamic terrorists are doing in their region and globally. I think at the end of the day, that is the most effective way, because if everyone is aware of this, if everyone knows what is happening and they understand the real threat that the world, like, I really believe that yes, we have the issue of woke ideology, we have the issue of communism. Yes, we have that, and it's
For sure.
spreading in many parts of the world. But I think a much bigger threat than any of them is Islam, because every other idea that we see as a huge problem, whether it is communism or socialism or whatever, they are all Western ideas, right? Correct. Communism did not originate in the Middle East,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's an American concept or Western concept, and you people are dealing with yourselves in this issue. But when it has to do with Islam, you are dealing with an invading, with something that is invading, something that is foreign, and something that wants to. It doesn't just want to take over the West. Let's say if the communists in the UK want the UK to be a communist country, they don't want their interest is in the UK, not in Canada. Do you understand? Even the communists have a regional mindset to a great extent, right? But the Islamists does not have a regional mindset. The goal is to bring the entire world under one Islamic caliphate. Wow. They are a threat to everyone. Everyone. It doesn't matter how little their presence is where you are. The threat is to everyone, everywhere in the world.
Yes.
And when people realize that you don't get the kind of thing you get where, because it's Donald Trump, therefore I'm going to find a way to, rubbish what he's doing and make it look like he's not doing something good in fighting these people. Because that's kind of what we see. We see it even in the West, where any person who supports Donald Trump doing this in Nigeria is kind of supporting a racist. I'm like, yeah, I get the fact that you are obsessed with racism, but there's something bigger than racism, and it's Islam. If you are worried about racism, you should see how Islam treats people who are not Muslims. And
Could you say that part again? Could you please say that part again? I'm going to give you a big screen. Go ahead and say that again.
Okay, I said that if your problem, I know that so many people in the West, their problem is racism. What they are obsessed with and trying to do. The only problem they see in the world is racism. But there's something bigger than racism, and it is Islam. If you think the racism you see in the West, whether you think the Western civilization is white supremacist or whatever, it is nothing to compare to how Islam views anyone who is not a Muslim. The language the Quran used to talk about Muslims is prescribed as how people who are not Muslims should be treated. When you look at it in the Quran and in the Hadith, you know that you have a much bigger problem than anything else you consider in the West. Okay? I mean, in Islam, you are seen as worse than the worst of creatures. The best of people for all mankind, the best of peoples, according to the Quran, is the Muslim. And the worst of creatures, the bottom of the barrel of people, of created things, are non-Muslims. And Allah has commanded the Muslims, giving them the divine godly mandate to fight and subjugate you. If you are a non-Muslim, the goal is to kill you or get you. Is either you convert or you are killed. If you are a non-Muslim who is not a Jew or a Christian, the goal is to exterminate you or get you to convert. If you don't convert, you'll be exterminated, killed. Then if you're a Jew or a Christian, the goal is to subjugate you and treat you as a dhimmi. But eventually, the final goal or the belief in Islam is that the end will not come. This is Muhammad's prophecy. The end will not come until the Muslim will fight the Jews and kill the Jews. And the Jews will be hiding behind trees and rocks. And the trees and the rocks will be saying, Muslim, There is a
Right
Jew
behind me.
hiding
Yep.
behind you. Come and kill him.
Wow.
So this is and then the Jesus of Islam is going to come back and he's going to break the cross and kill the pig. Breaking the cross there signifies that the Jesus of Islam is going to come and end Christianity. So
Correct.
everything about Islam is the destruction of everything else other than Islam. The enemy of Islam is anything that is not Islam. So it is a real problem that people need to really pay attention to. And if they don't, anything else is a smaller problem compared to this. Honestly, it is. And people in the West need to also understand, especially Christians in the West, need to understand that you are in a blessed position for a reason. God put you in that. I know many of them, especially the ones that are African American or Black Americans, like I prefer to call them, believe that they are in the West to call out racism and to destroy the system of oppression, whatever it is. But just realize that even as a Black person who is a Christian or who identifies as such, you should understand that you are placed in that place for a reason. And probably, who knows, like Mordecai said to Esther, who knows if you were put in that position for a time like this. Don't waste it.
Man.
There is a much bigger problem. Don't waste it. Don't listen to stupid people like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens that say people who are trying to make Islam a major problem are doing it because of the Jews. Don't listen to stupid people like that. And also don't listen to stupid people who are never Trumpers, who, if Trump says don't drink bleach, they are essentially going to,
chug it. They're gonna chug it.
4 bottles of bleach. So just to put it to him. They're trying to own Trump by destroying themselves. Don't listen to those people. Okay, wow. Islam is a threat to us all. Islam does not discriminate with who they are. The only people that they discriminate against are women. You understand? In that, they kill the men, the women will be made sex slaves. Maybe if as a woman, because I know many women, they are really in the West, they are really obsessed with destroying the patriarchy. Mm-hmm. If you think the patriarchy is a real problem, you need to see the patriarchy Islam edition.
Right.
Where you can get married to somebody, a child, essentially, and you can consummate the marriage whenever the child is able to take a man's genitals without the woman's genitals splitting.
We'll stop.
Destroyed. Yeah, where that is the case, where female genital mutilation is permissible, right?
Gosh.
So if you and the cowardly things, many of these movements in the West, I consider them big cowards, because people who are like feminists, they are in the Muslim world. Like, they are feminist group in the Muslim world that are trying to stop FGM and child marriage, for example. Okay. But they are so cowardly that they will not even recognize that this is an Islamic problem. Right. They will call it everything but an Islamic problem. They will say, oh, it is a cultural issue. I'm like, yeah, what is the name of that culture? Middle Eastern culture, really? No, it is.
What's the culture? What's the culture? Right.
That is a cultural thing. Yes, an Islamic cultural thing. The culture that has been influenced and shaped by the theology of Islam. So yeah, that is the main issue at the end of the day. And I'm hopeful at the end of the day, because I see people waking up to this stuff. I see people who are beginning to realize that this is a problem, and the goal is to keep creating that consciousness, that awareness, so that it becomes, like one of the polls that was taken during Turning Point years. People were asked what was the major thing that they are concerned about in America, and one of the things that I think the number one thing that they are concerned about is Islam. And I'm saying, yes, that is what you should be. You should really be concerned about Islam. It is a real problem,
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you, Frank. Let's keep it going, man.
Tanks, helicopters, and F-35 fighters, working together to suppress enemy resistance and maintain momentum. Hovercraft add tactical flexibility by bypassing coastal barriers and carrying heavy vehicles air transport can't handle, allowing forces to strike where the enemy least expects. Once ashore, amphibious forces conduct sustained operations backed by naval gunfire and air support, stabilizing captured areas and protecting civilians. Their operations follow a disciplined rhythm: planning, embarkation, rehearsal, movement, and swift action, transforming sea power into lasting ground control. While aircraft carriers dominate the skies, amphibious warships bridge the gap from sea to land, turning devastating airstrikes into actual control and enduring influence.
Okay, I
I think
hey,
what
I
is not,
like this.
yeah,
I'm,
but
I'm sorry.
it's not really explaining to us what really went down.
Right. Because yeah, I like okay, fine. It's well ironed out, all that kind of stuff like that. But if I was looking at the map correctly, that's a lot of
Mm.
land between the water and getting to where Boko Haram has been, where you're trying to really peg them down or nail them down to. So you're
Yes.
gonna be going through a lot of towns. You're gonna be engaging with a lot of civilians. You're gonna be engaged with a lot of people that could be or couldn't be working for or working against your efforts. I agree with you, Frank. I don't want this to happen. I think they probably,
Yeah.
hopefully, they've done enough with the missile strikes that they don't need to do this because I don't think this would go well.
Yes, I just we can consider other like stuff to react to. Like I think before we started the live stream, I sent you the Facebook post of Sheikh Gumi, the Sheikh
Oh yeah,
of Islamic terrorists in Nigeria. I also sent you another link to a report from Arise TV. You know, you can look at that to actually understand like the news reports that we are getting from Nigeria about what is happening. And yeah,
could you send that to me in the private chat?
yeah, I just
I
did. I
have
did.
Gumi right. I have Gumi right here. Oh no, I'm sorry. I do have it. I'm sorry. Okay, so we'll
Yeah.
look at this in a second. And this is the
Yeah.
report of the missile strike.
Yes, like the
Oh,
situation.
okay.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. We'll look at this in a second. Thank you, man. All right, let's get done with this. So, shout out if you're just jumping in. We got Frank from a Nigerian perspective, a good brother of mine who actually lives in Nigeria, who's given us his perspective on Trump's Christmas present that he gave Nigeria, as well as just what's going on in Nigeria with the persecuted Christian population there. So, let's keep this going. Thank you, Frank.
With this combined capability, can true victory and peace be achieved? But the brute force multiplier of these hovercraft, let's take a look at how they change the tide of the battlefield. U.S. Navy hovercraft, specifically the landing craft Air Cushion and its upgraded counterpart, the Ship-to-Shore Connector, revolutionize amphibious warfare with their speed and versatility. These hovercraft can travel at speeds over 40 knots, about 46 miles per hour, far quicker than traditional landing craft, drastically reducing transit time from warship to shore. Their unique air cushion design allows them to glide seamlessly over water, beaches, marshes, ice, and difficult terrain, places where conventional boats cannot operate. This ability opens access to roughly 70 to 80% of the world's shorelines, vastly expanding potential landing zones beyond the limited 17% reachable by older landing craft. Hovercraft can carry a 60 to 75-ton payload, enough for one M1 Abrams tank or multiple armored vehicles and several dozen troops, making them invaluable for rapid deployment of heavy forces ashore. Their capability to bypass natural obstacles like reefs, mines, and mudflats ensures that forces land where enemy defenses are weakest or least expected, enhancing tactical surprise. Thanks to this speed and terrain,
And I don't know, man. I'm really enjoying seeing some of the animations because it is cool to kind of see. But on the same
Yeah.
note, I'm like, I don't want tanks in Nigeria. I don't want.
I'm watching many of this, and I'm like, we don't even know if we are there yet. Like, or if we ever get there. So, at the end, kind of make me wonder if the title of the video is kind of misleading because it's kind of we want to explain the attack, and you're explaining a hypothetical situation, not the actual situation. You know,
Right. This looks like a lot more hypothetical, and I apologize about that. But we will be
Mhm.
looking at your news report as well. All right, let's just finish it up.
flexibility, hovercraft enable amphibious forces to launch fast, over-the-horizon assaults, sometimes deploying from 20 to 50 miles or more offshore, significantly increasing ship survivability by operating beyond enemy missile ranges. Operations using hovercraft change the battlefield by allowing swift buildup and sustainment of combat power ashore, combined with naval gunfire and air support, maintaining momentum and overwhelming the enemy before defenses can react. In the age of drone warfare, a giant ship like the Wasp class, a floating airport, faces new vulnerabilities. Even a simple $20,000 Iranian drone has the potential to wreak havoc on its platform. To resist such threats, these ships are armed with multiple defensive layers designed to counter attacks from every angle. At the bow and stern, the REM 116
Hold on, sorry.
rolling airframe missile
I apologize.
Yeah, I just I'm laughing when they said like the ship is at risk of. I'm like, at risk of what? Like Boko Haram don't have what it takes to if like a ship that is docking in the Gulf of Guinea. Boko Haram don't have what it takes to hit it. Like they don't even need to worry about that.
Yeah, I don't. I think they might. Again, this might be not, and I might have jumped the gun a little bit, pun intended. That I thought this would be a good video to, and it does seem a lot more hypothetical. I didn't realize how much hypotheticalness
Yeah.
he was embellishing. But is it okay to finish?
Ah, fine. Go ahead.
Launchers rise above the starboard side superstructure, offering clear lines of sight and rapid interception capability against incoming missiles. Midway along the ship on both port and starboard sides, the RIM-7 Sea Sparrow missile launchers work in tandem with their fire control radars to provide broad coverage against aircraft and missile threats. Failing systems protects the superstructure and are found forward and aft of the ship. Some Wasp-class ships feature a third amidships, ensuring that defensive fire overlaps and every sector remains covered. Mark 38 machine guns sit at the edges and corners of the hull, their elevated open-deck mounts giving them a wide field of fire to engage fast boats or drones approaching from any direction. Closest to the weather deck, 50 caliber M2 Browning machine guns are distributed at the bow and amidships on both sides. These are placed so operators can quickly respond to low, close-in threats approaching the waterline, filling the final gap in the ship's comprehensive defensive envelope. If the preceding method proves ineffective against small targets, another close-in weapon system, the CRAM, comes into play. The CRAM integrates the radar and electro-optical system of the Phalanx, but this bad boy alone packs an 11-cell RAM launcher that can be reloaded, thus creating an autonomous system that can engage threats without relying on external information. Within the CRAM is the RIM-116 rolling airframe missile equipped with an infrared homing device. This small, lightweight infrared homing surface-to-air missile is specifically designed for engaging subsonic missile, such as the Soviet-era P-15 re-engineered by Iran. We make original 4K 3D animation with a small team of animators, so please support us by subscribing.
Is that the end?
I think they do a good job, but yeah, I do think that was a little bit more hypothetical as it relates to. I kind of wanted to see like, well, where did the missiles hit, and the such like that. So I apologize about that, man. Always learning, ever learning. All right, give me your overall before we pull up the news article, the news discussing it. Anything else you want us to take from that we just saw?
No, nothing much. I think I've said all the things that
You let it out, man. You didn't hold a lot back there, Frank. You didn't hold anything back, my friend. Okay, so by the way, if anybody's just jumped in, let's just real quick, because you have definitely some people from your channel that are popping in. Thank you so much for the $2 super. I need to know about those found rockets. Truth, are they found rockets? Did you? What is this?
Oh, yeah. I know what he's talking about. He's saying there are pictures of people who post rockets that I don't know what it was that they were posting and say, oh, these are the rockets that we have fired. I don't know what those are. Honestly, I don't know if they were the rockets that we have fired or if it was just something else. Now, when we look at Sheikh Gumi's post on Facebook, you understand why. I think it explains why we see many of those pictures online right now. People are just popping them out saying, oh, look at this is one of the missiles that was fired. I don't think that is the case. I just think it's just people posting things online.
I got you. Okay.
It's quite unfortunate that social media that is supposed to be an avenue to post valid information has also been hijacked by people whose intention is just to confuse people and just post, hey, this is what happened. And which is one of my fear with the whole conflict is that the Muslims have learned something from Gaza. Sadly, they've learned something from Gaza, which is that we may not be able to win the war on the ground, but we can be able to win the PR war. One of the things that they are going to do, which we're already seeing them doing, is that luckily for them, they have allies among the lefties and among people who are liberal, who call themselves liberal. They have people there who are going to echo whatever it is that they feed to them. They know that, and they are using that greatly to their advantage. So yeah, if Trump is going to go really hard on them, so expect that you are going to see clips of, it might be clips from 50 years ago. It doesn't matter to them. They just died because of a gunshot from America. they're going to see that over and over. All of these are just to distract. What we know thus far is that nobody was killed, nobody was injured, no person's property was destroyed. It was terror hideouts that were destroyed and the terrorists were fleeing. And I want to believe that official narrative because everything else is hard to confirm. It's just people posting pictures and say, we saw this. And the funny thing about the rockets that they will snap is that it's always going to be a close-up photo. So you cannot even place it in any location.
Correct.
So it's just dismiss most of that. We don't know what those are.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Also, thank you so much, Happy Mac with the 5. Praying for our Christian brothers and sisters. A peaceful and free new year, Frank. Shout out to him.
Amen. Happy Mac.
And another one from your subscribers. They didn't have a question, Frank. They didn't have any comment. They just love the game. Thank you so much for the $10 super for sure. Now, Piggy says this. Your Islam coverage is so important. Thank you. Jesus saves. Frank, you've been doing an excellent job. Thank you.
Really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Now, Irene is our sister over in our Brit in the U.S. She says this, thank you for covering this. God bless. And I think it is important because, and she also became a new member. So shout out to that as well. We don't get good, we don't have good intel on what's going on in Nigeria. Now, of course, there are certain areas around the world that get a lot of attention. You know, that little sliver of land that looks like New Jersey in the Middle East. We're always going to hear about them. We'll always hear about what's going on in Canada. Anywhere, I hate to say it, where America can kind of look bad or America stubs their toe or America really fumbles it, we're going to find out about that. But when it's somebody else doing something against other people, we don't hear about it here like that. So I want to bring in this news article that you sent me, which I think, again, I've never heard some of this. And it's kind of wild. If you want me to stop Frank, just let me know, okay?
Yeah, before you play it, we're not going. I don't intention with the news story is not for us to listen to all of it. I just want us to listen to what was said at the beginning because everything else is kind of elaborating on what was said at the beginning. So because that kind of summarizes what exactly like the news is saying, like what the news is, what we know, you know, and not all the speculations you see all over the place.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you for that, Frank. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link to this Twitter, what is called Arise News. So you can check it out. Frank is just going to tell me where to stop, and I will obey. I'm with you, sir. Uh-oh. Look, one of your people said, "Hey, I just got up in here. Don't stop." Oh, I guess we gotta go extra innings, man. We gotta go extra innings now.
I have a video to edit, guys.
Oh, then we gotta get you going. Let's get this game. Frank has work to do. All right, let's go. Green hearts in the chat where you can hear.
Now, residents of Masalachi in Tangaza local government area in Sokoto State have reported seeing terrorists fleeing forest after attacks by the United States. The Nigerian government and the United States had struck several forests, including Kawuri, Kamdam, and Malgam, where
Okay, I got to say something ridiculous real quick, just to kind of break it up. She looks like she could be American. I'm sorry, man. I mean, she looks American. I'm like, wow. I mean, it looks fantastic. And she does talk about these trees, man, Frank. We're going to have to maybe I'll make a t-shirt about these Nigerian trees that are stopping missiles and stuff, man.
Trees.
If you find that article of the guy saying that the missiles can't penetrate the trees, please send it to me. I need it. I'm begging you for it. She looks like a city girl. Essentially like a city girl. Is that what they call? I think okay. I mean, she just looks American. She looks like she would fit in here in Atlanta. Okay, let's go.
The Lakura terrorists are based. Reports say several of the terrorists were killed and their properties destroyed. Arise News Chief Correspondent Ferdinand Duroa is in Masalachi to give us updates. Thank you for joining us, Ferdinand. Bring us up to speed on what's going on right there.
All right, thank you so much. And yes, it is the sojourner to ensure that we get exactly the details of what happened on Christmas Day. In the last 48 hours, well, we have been going around Sokoto State, well, particularly to places where did feel the effect. And yes, we went to Jabo in Tambawa local government area, and today we are in Tangasa, where we can confirm to you that is indeed the hub of Lakurawa activities here in Sokoto State. Now we are talking about where the attacks were indeed meant to hit, and we can confirm that yes, the locations were struck. Now we've spoken to some of the villagers, and also some of the traders, because this is a route. After here, from this point, you cross over, and then it leads on to Niger Republic, well, then leads on to Ghana, leads on to Burkina Faso, leads on to Mali. And from exactly what they've told us, well, they've told us exactly how much travelers from the Sahel, well, you want to call them travelers, or how much migrants from the Sahel have indeed been a destruction to the community, where there's so much fear in the air, so much fear in the air. But then from what they've told us, well, they can confirm that yes, clearance activities are taking place just behind us in some of the forest. Well, they mentioned the Kawuri forest, and then also they mentioned the is it Malgam forest, where the actions place, talking about the strikes. And then also some gentlemen told us about the movements of terrorists. Now, they actually described how they had moved from one part of the forest, where they call the north, to, of course, another place. So that's the situation. Well, I'm not alone. I've made this journey with our correspondent, who indeed is on ground here in Sokoto State with me. Nasiru, please join me, and let's indeed take a look at this situation.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, just before we go, did you want to add anything else to it? I mean, I appreciate him explaining that and such of that nature, but did you want to add anything to that, Frank?
Yeah, I just want people to notice how, well, compared to what you see on CNN and other places, I just want you to notice how there is the accuracy of, look, we are on the ground, we have seen the places. Yes, the actual target was hit. Yes, people are saying yes, that these travelers, like they call them, are wreaking havoc. That's, by travelers, they mean these bandits that are on transit are wreaking havoc in society. And yes, there is kind of unease in the air. People don't understand what is going on, which is kind of understandable. And yes, there's also a report of the terrorists moving, fleeing. So I want us to, why I send this news report, and why I'm happy that we're even looking at it, is that at least it lets people know, oh, actually, this is what people on the ground, report on the ground, is saying about this attack. Okay. So I also sent you a link to that. I got it.
I have it ready. I cannot believe this, man. Y'all stay tuned, because we're going to kick Frank out of here and send Frank to go do work. But just stay to the end. Stay to the end. I promise. Tell me when to stop this video, though, Frank.
Ferdinand. Well, we wouldn't want to say it's a revelation that was made, because these are some of the stories that you have reported, including the activities of those coming from the Sahel, who indeed come in, cause disruptions, and go away. But then the only situation right now is that, yes, this is the first time that we're getting pictures in Tangasa since that attack on Christmas Day.
Exactly, Mr. Ferdinand. Yeah, Tangasa has a very complicated security situation where the Lakura operated, and also they have bandit, and also a kind of a tribal conflict between the houses.
Wait, okay, I know it's bad. You're not, if you're a reporter, you're not supposed to give your microphone to somebody, because this guy looked like it's done. That microphone, you're never going to see anything again. I mean, I like it, but my man right here, like, well, why did I give him my microphone? You're not supposed to give up your microphone, because it's a wrap. That guy is never going to give that thing back.
The Fulani body coming off the Lakurawa in 2024. They've been here since 2018, and they've been disrupting the livestock of people. That is what they specialize in rustling animals. But with this attack,
Can I ask you, what is that thing behind him? What is that structure right there behind him? It looks like a transformer. Is that an electric transformer?
The transformer, yes.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I just wish it's too low on the ground. That's all I'm saying. Like, that thing is too low. Good gracious. Okay.
We do dangerous things in this country. If you're not used to danger, you can't live here.
Oh yeah, I'm too old to be about danger now. The 20-year-old Jason would have been there, but now the 50, nah, I'm good. I'm danger free.
Bombardment from the U.S. government on Christmas Day, the villagers really confirmed that the U.S. airstrike hit the target because they could confirm that people are moving from Kauri, Kandam, Malgam, where the Lakura have their base, and even are very, very comfortable digging a borehole and even a well to make it a permanent camp. That particular place has been hit by this attack. Yeah.
Just to interrupt you, well, I think that's one of the revelations from this. We're talking about how much development.
The guest has become the news reporter. The guest has become the reporter, man. That's crazy. Hey, not to interrupt you.
Don't get distracted by the lack of professionalism. Do you notice that they are saying that those people really have a base there? Like they are drilling boreholes there, they are building houses there, they are trying to make that like a permanent base, and the US just sent them packing.
Right.
Do you understand? So I'm saying, keep that in mind when you hear people say, "Oh, it was a pointless attack," because that is kind of what I've seen so many people say. "Oh, it was a pointless attack." They did not. What was being. Just know that it is not true.
I love it. Now, here in the United States, we did hear that it was a strike. We didn't hear like real details. We didn't get like, aerial pictures and whatever like that or whatnot. But we did hear that it was a strike. But I'm glad to hear this as well, that they're being very clear about it, even though the reporter done lost his microphone. I'm sorry, that thing is still cracking me up, man. It's keeping me engaged.
They say have taken place in some of these settlements in the forest. They talk about boreholes being built.
Exactly.
Talk about wells being dug by terrorists.
Yeah.
And then who indeed come out to cause commotion, cause problems, make it difficult for the people to indeed, have a normal lifestyle, rear cattle, steal, kidnap, and of course go away.
Exactly. They waited until your farm produce are ready for harvest, and they start coming. Either they kidnap and to ask you to sell your farm produce. And in most instances, this farm produce you have to pay levy to harvest. And after you pay levy, they also come for you. They kidnap the breadwinners in the home, and they know you cannot allow your father or your breadwinners to be with them. You have to pay. So the community here have suffered a lot. I could tell you history of what has been happening. I could remember in 2020. The DPO of Tangaza was killed right inside the police divisional headquarters. 6 other police officers were killed also.
Oh, sorry,
and in
brother.
2021,
Sorry about that.
Did you hear what he said? He said, I've forgotten what year he mentioned, but now many people are saying
21.
Yeah, he said the DPO, that's the Deputy Police DPO, what does it even stand for? Let me not. I think
Deputy.
it's a police deputy. Yes.
Yeah, police.
That was
Yeah.
kidnapped and killed in this area. You see the terror attacks that have been happening here. This is not something that is just, this is contrary to what we've been hearing, that these places have not really have issues of. We've had people say, this particular area did not have issue of terrorism. Why didn't they go to Sambisa? Why did they go to Sokoto? Why didn't they go to? We've had people say that. I even saw one woman. I featured her in my video. I responded to one of the nonsense she said, because this lady is a Nigerian that stays in the UK. She goes by Shola Mos Shobamimu, and she's a UK Nigerian. And she was saying, Trump went and hit forest. They are not even sure. Why is he doing this? And I'm like, why are you this stupid? And you're a Nigerian. You should know better. You should know better. You did not even wait. It's shocking to me. Some people did not even wait. Okay, let's get the full story. This happened on Christmas Day. I did not say anything about it on Christmas Day. I did not say anything about it the next day. I did not say anything about it for the whole of the week that it happened. We are having this conversation on Tuesday. You sent me a message. When did you send me the message for this? And I responded on Monday. Why I needed to respond is that I really wanted to know. I want to have as many stuff as possible about what is going on before we even comment about it. I waited. Right. But you could not even wait. And you are in Nigeria. What they are talking about is what is happening in your country.
Wow.
But you are so quick. You so hate Trump. My problem is this lady. Of course, the UK woke mentality has already warped her mindset. So she's so much. As her hatred for Trump is so much, she cannot even wait. And they are talking about her country. At least if you want to report on the UK, you can keep lying. But for your country, for once, be accurate.
Right.
But even that you cannot even afford to do. That is really bad.
No, I'm right there with you, man. Great catch. Do you want to finish this up? And
If you want to finish it up,
Okay.
I'm very sure that there will be more things to make you laugh.
no, I just I am getting a little chuckle out of this. So let's finish it up. Let's finish it up.
Tribal conflict perspective of it, 6 Fulani persons officially reported were killed, but well,
Okay.
Oh, their mic cut out.
Yeah, that's their mic cut off. All right, there was a Lord saying, "Let's stop laughing at that man." 'Cause that poor man is looking like I done lost my job. Like, wait, are y'all gonna pay me still? He's looking
not-
bad.
I'm
All right,
telling
let
you,
me-
he has done his job. He's a very good reporter.
Okay, all right. So, shout out to Frank. Thank you so much. Real quick, if you all please make sure that you hit like on this video. Also, make sure you hit like on Frank's video as well on his page. You have a video coming up. You don't have a new one, but you got a video coming up today. Make sure you go to Frank's channel. The link is down in the description. And once you've hit the like button, drop the green heart in the chat. Let us know that. And because you all have been such great students today for Jason and Frank's show, I'm going to bring up this post about the bombs are the trees are deflecting the bombs of Nigeria, which is the craziest thing. And it's from the defense minister. This is the craziest word.
Yeah, it's from the defense minister.
All
I
right.
think it's the defense minister. I don't know if it's the current one.
Let me see. I looked at it. I don't know either. But my goodness.
But let me see if when I look at it, I will know if it's the current one or the former one.
All right, let me pull this in because I know you gotta get to work. So let's get Frank out of here. All right, here it is. This is from, I'm not sure it was SOCO and the U.S. Army strike. Maybe it was Sylvania bomb.
He said, I'm not sure. Let me read it. I'm not sure if it was Sokoto, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Army airstrike. That was not well worded. He's trying to say, I'm not sure if it was Sokoto that was struck by the U.S. Army. Maybe it was Slovenia. Bombs can't penetrate Nigerian forest. And then he posted it. This is by, I think this is the former Minister of Defense. This is by Mohammed Dabaru. And he said, yes, we know the location of the terrorists and bandits, but bombs cannot penetrate the forest. We are studying the situation. So yeah, trees cannot allow bombs to enter the forest. Okay,
bro, y'all got some. Yeah, that right there is screenshotable right there. I love it. That might have to become the thumbnail, man. Hold on, let me grab that real quick. That might be the thumbnail. I don't know what to do with that one, Frank. Man, y'all got some powerful trees over there, man. Y'all trees are defeating bombs and missiles and everything else.
Yeah, so when you have somebody like that as the defense minister, you can see that we are in safe hands.
Well, okay, watch this then, Frank. This is what you do. You need to get the seeds of those trees, and you need to start an international shipping, getting those trees all around the world. Because man, hey, if those trees could stop bombs and missiles, man, they could stop my neighbor from looking through my, through my window, looking at me in the morning. So hey,
they
you can be rich. You can be rich by next Tuesday, man.
I think those trees lose their power once they leave Nigeria. They are only effective when they are planted on Nigerian soil.
Okay, well then you gotta send a scoop of Nigerian soil too, man. Come on, a little bag of Nigerian soil, the seed, super trees.
Somebody in the chat said those are Wakanda 45 trees.
It's too early in the morning. It's too early in the morning. By the way, just so y'all know, like this is legitimate now. This is real. The bombs cannot penetrate the trees of Nigeria. Yeah. Frank, I'm gonna kick you out of here. Get out of here, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Man, this is so much fun. Y'all, real quick, man, type Frank in the chat. Let Frank know we appreciate him. And we gotta type Frank in the chat because that way he knows that he can come back.
We
need Frank
pleasure to be here.
We need Frank to come back more often. But again, tell us real quick about your channel, what people can expect when they come over to your channel. A Nigerian perspective.
Anyway, I've not been posting on the Nigerian perspective. Not like you should not go there and subscribe, but but I've not been posting there for like a month now. I've been focused on my second channel where I post a couple of videos. I really bless God for how the new channel is coming. We started not too long ago, but now we already have like 1.5k subscribers in the new one. So that's kind of like a good improvement for me personally. We've already gotten one video that already has 20,000 views. So that is, and we are not even up to 2 months old. I think that is for me, I consider this like huge. It shows that, you know, the content we are doing there is really like good content. So if you really want to see more of that, I focus more about, you know, Islam, Muslim stuff and what Muslims are doing and kind of make fun of them while exposing them and exposing the ridiculousness of the religion. So that's what the channel is about. If you want to see more of that, you know, in a way that will not, you know, usually when I talk about Muslims in the Nigerian perspective or on live stream like this, I'm usually angry or feisty, like somebody in the comments said. When I talk about it in the bliss of jihad, I am less feisty and more sarcastic. And I think some people will appreciate the sarcasm and the hilarious tone about discussing these things. I think it is helpful, and if that's something that you're interested in, then by all means go over to Bliss of Jihad, youtube.com/@Bliss of Jihad. That is the channel, and you can subscribe and you'll get very wonderful stuff.
I love it. And go by and check them out, but don't give them a subscribe and forget to subscribe to this channel because your boy's still trying to get it. I'm trying to get that fancy silver play button that Frank has back there. Look at it. He rubbing it in my face. See? You better be glad you protected by those trees. I sent some.
But where are you going to hang them? You don't have like any place to hang stuff like your background. Where are you going to keep? Where are you going to keep your
it's going to go right here. It's going right here.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're going to hit the wall.
I got the wall ready. It's ready for
it. Don't worry. Inshallah, you're going to get it. Inshallah.
I love it. Did the mods? Okay, here's a Nigerian perspective. Thank you so much. All right, the Bliss of Jihad is your other channel. Let me make sure that if the mods can make sure it's in the chat, that'd be great. Now we are so unprofessional here. They're like, what's wrong with y'all? Oh, I was wondering. Okay, somebody sent this to me. I was like, why does this guy look like that? That's not Frank. I got you now, Frank. You got me. I got you. And I'm sitting there doing all this and it's already in the chat. I love y'all. That's why we got the best live chat on the planet. All right, y'all, get out of here. Everybody, I want to say thank you. By the way, I'm going to have Hatun Tash on this evening. She's going to be talking about Islam in the UK.
That's powerful stuff right there.
Right. So it's going to be a lot. There's a lot of Islam going to be discussed today, but I do think that's probably, as you said, Islam is the problem. It is the problem. All this other stuff is ancillary. All this other stuff is satellite. The big problem is, of course, the quote unquote religion of peace. So now we'll have her on tonight. So, but Frank, whenever you want to, if you ever need me to come over there, just send up the bat signal. You are always welcome here, and I will make sure I can, whenever even though we got a little time zone difference, I'll make sure I'll respect the time and get over there as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And
no problem, man.
That this will be 1 hour 30 minutes, but now we are hitting close to 2 hours. So thank you. I really appreciate it, and I really enjoyed it. It's always a blast coming on your channel and just, you know, saying all the things that is in my mind.
well, I'm glad that you have a venue to do so. So again, I'm gonna drop you to the back. I left your message in private chat. I'm gonna drop you to the back, and I'm gonna get ready to get us out of here. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. Please make sure you go check out Frank's channel, his original channel, A Nigerian Perspective, and his new channel, Bliss of Jihad. Check him out, support him, make sure you like his channel and leave him a comment. Let him know what he's doing is appreciated by you and that you find value. Everybody, thank you all so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you all tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll have Hatun Tash on talking about Islam in the UK. Everybody have a fantastic rest of the day. Stay warm. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.